Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast here with Jessica Bun Bun for our latest True Detective theory. And this one, as we approach the finale, we have one of the granddaddies of them all here, the spiral. What the spiral really means, because we may have an explanation for it in season 4, but I think as a lot of us know, it goes so much deeper than that. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean the exact same thing as season 1, but we are going to take our own deep dive through the world, the history, the meanings of this, like probably the most iconic symbol in the entire history of this show.
Oh, easily the most iconic
Yeah.
symbol of this show. I mean, there's been so much talk about this spiral over the years through the seasons. And I mean, they've really leaned into the spiral
Yeah.
here again in season 4 with the rock and the meaning that they have actually given to it here, which is basically that hunters are using this as a warning to other hunters that there is thin ice here.
And I think there might be questions like, okay, well, why is this video coming out before the finale? And I think the real reason for that can be given right now is just that I think a lot of what the spiral symbolizes in season 4 on some level is going to be very important moving into the finale, and there may be at least a certain amount of clues in here as to where things are going.
Yeah, because besides seeing it on The Rock and getting that explanation about The Rock, we've seen this spiral all over the place. We even saw it in the overall season trailer, like on the wall. We've
Yeah.
seen, that picture of Jodie Foster sitting in a spiral of pictures, and we saw it on the show as well. It's everywhere. Clark's got the tattoo, Annie's got the
Yeah.
tattoo. This spiral is everywhere this season.
So brace yourselves for a spiral of spiral discussions here. But before,
no.
no, this is going to be a good spiral, everybody. Don't worry. No, we're not going into darkness. But before we move any further here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yes, we will have a full reaction and review for the finale as soon as it is done on HBO and Max. So we definitely want you guys to check that out.
And don't forget, we have The Walking Dead coming up really soon. We're going to be covering Fallout here at the channel as well.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire's been announced. So hit that subscribe button and stick with us.
Okay, so first and foremost here, in order to explain the present, we have to go back to the past. So we're
Beep, bop, bop, boop. Okay,
Thank you.
we're in the past.
All right, we are now in season 1, where the spiral was ubiquitous. It was everywhere. You could see it across a number of different symbols. I mean, it starts all the way back when it appears on the back of Dora Lang, but it goes so much more beyond that. And it's brought back up mostly in that season as like this progression or descent into darkness. Like what it is showing us in season 1 is really bad stuff, like really bad stuff that is there, that is present, that is unavoidable. It's shown up in so many different forms. And I mean, you have sort of set up some of them already, but in a metaphorical sense, you see it with the birds that are sort of flying in the sky, and you see it in like the swirling vortex that Russ Cole sees that much like with season 4, like there are still these visions, these hauntings that happen in season 1. And, for everybody out there that is just sort of like, why is Night Country so supernatural? Why are they not making this show more grounded? True Detective has never been that grounded when you have Russ Cole seeing swirling vortexes that are meant to represent the spiral.
Listen, to be fair, Russ did say in season 1 that he did a lot of drugs when he was undercover, and that a lot of these visions and things that are happening to him do have a logical explanation to it. But yes, we did see the spiral, on Dora Lang. We saw it like burned into the back of some of the people that were involved in what was going on. Like it was everywhere.
Yeah. And so how we're meant to look at all of this in season 1 is just like this clear symbol that darkness is here. It is coming. It's going to get worse. And I think an explanation for this supernatural stuff, this is something that Nick Pizzolatto is the creator of True Detective. He was very involved in the first 3 seasons. We don't need to get into anything he's saying about season 4, but this is what he had to say. Believe this was the EW back when season 1 was happening. And this is about the symbolism and the spiral. I hope the audience will be pleasantly surprised by the naturalism of the entire story. If you look at the series so far, what seems supernatural actually has real world causes, like Cole's hallucinations or even the nature of the crime.
Mhm.
It has occult portents, but there's nothing supernatural about it. This tinfoil hat time.
Oh, all right.
This is a philosophy that I still feel like on some level, Issa Lopez, who is doing season 4, I don't think she's come into True Detective and is just like, I'm going to change everything. I'm going to make it this completely different show. Like, I still think
Well,
she is following this philosophy to a certain degree.
I agree. I think she is. Everything that we've seen so far, it feels very much like it is in the same world.
Yeah. And something that Issa has even said in some interviews is that season 4 is in conversation with season 1. So it's not
Mhm.
like she's ever been like, this is a direct sequel to season 1. And, we're going to
No.
see Russ Cole back or anything else. I think we both have said this through a lot of our other videos in that I think season 1 has a very viable impact. And I don't think that this is just some Easter egg sort of thing, but we want this
No.
season to also be its own thing
Yes.
about its own characters. And hopefully in the finale, that will end up being the case. And we're not just going to have like a big season 1 reunion here.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason that someone like, Rust or Marty would ever need to come back into this season is if the Spiral and Annie actually have to do with what happened in season 1 and it is connected to that case in that way.
Yeah.
I know that Rust by the end of season 1 was like, okay, we got Childress, but the Tuttles, they're still out there. I'm not great with that. And Marty's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not great with it either. But like, sometimes you just got to take a win where you could take a win. We can't get everybody, and we got who we could get.
I want to believe that, Rust is still out there somewhere investigating the Tuttles and trying to find a way to get a larger sense of justice. It's just, I don't know if that's a story we're ever going to see. It's just maybe something that we end up hearing about. We don't know if there's a season 5. We don't know what a season 5 would even be about.
Mhm.
But we're going to use your time machine again here
Oh,
for another
okay.
moment here. We're not going back to the present yet. We're just going a little bit further ahead.
Okay, beep, bop, boop. Okay, we're gone.
All right, we're now in season 3. We're not going to spend a lot of time in season 3 because there's not a ton of connections everywhere with it. But there was this sort of mention of a crooked spiral in season 3, which was related to these really horrible acts that were being done around children.
Yep.
This led to a lot of insanity back when season 3 was over. Like the think pieces, the theories.
I remember.
Yeah, like you thought the will Russ Cole come back thing was it was only exclusive to Night Country. No, this was out there a lot in season 3, and it never really amounted to all that much. But Nick Pizzolatto did season 3 as well as season 1, so like he knew what he was doing when he put that in the script. And so this is just like, once again, to all of the True Detective purists that are out there that are just like, why is the spiral being brought up in this season? It was sacred to season 1. It's already been alluded to in season 3. This is not
Correct.
new.
Yeah, no, it's not new.
Okay, so now we are going back to season 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
beep, bop, boop.
All
Okay,
right.
we're there.
We're finally back in season 4, and you've already went into a little bit as to what the spirals are apparently set to mean when it comes to a warning.
Yeah, it's said to be a warning that there's thin ice to warn other hunters that there's thin ice there. But like I said, we have seen it all over this season. I mean, like I said, we've got that thing with the spiral, with all the photos, with Danvers. We've got the tattoos with Annie, with Clark. Like, it has been all over the place.
Now this is where things get fun, because now this is where we try to figure out, what are the spirals actually supposed to be telling us
Yes.
this season? And I think a part of it is what you just lined out. But we all know True Detective, they deal with symbols all the time. We've
Yep.
done videos about Twist and Shout, the one-eyed polar bear,
Yep.
possible poisoning of the scientist. Like, there are much larger meanings here. And here's, I think, the big distinction just superficially between season 4 spirals and season 1.
Mhm.
Season 4, these are here, as you said, as a warning that, okay, there is darkness ahead. There is a problem ahead. In season 1, the darkness was already there. Like, it was unavoidable. So there is that, I think, a really interesting distinction between the two and how they are represented and how they're even presented, because the spiral was on Darling's body. Like, the danger, the despair, all of that had already happened.
Yes.
You mentioned Danvers surrounded by all the photos that
Yep.
look like a spiral. That was her preparing. That was the warning of the danger that is coming up. Like there's something just there that is very different, but still meant to bring back similar echoes. And I think it's just Issa Lopez basically being like, look at you, True Detective viewer. We love that you're here, but we want you thinking. We want the wheels turning here a little bit.
Absolutely. It's obviously not there for no reason. It is there as a warning. And I think as these two detectives have been going through the season, Danvers and Navarro, they really have been coming up against warning after warning after warning after warning.
And while I think another question is going to be, well, okay, why would this spiral have a different meaning here than it does in Louisiana back in season 1? And I think a lot of that is just sort of tied to this idea that in culture and in life, like there can be something that has a collective meaning, but then
Sure.
as it's adopted by other people, other places, like things do start to inevitably change, whether
Yes.
it is, like cultural traditions. Like, I mean, this is kind of a crazy example, but like Christmas is something that exists for many people. It's been around for a very long time, but different people celebrate Christmas on different days with different traditions. It adopts different things. I mean, that's a much more happier thing, obviously, than that of the True Detective spiral. But it's still something that I feel is really important in looking at all of this, because the spiral has existed for a very or long time, or whatever sort of joke I want to make there. But no, the spiral has been around forever. And if you're to kind of look at the ancient quality of that, of course, it's going to evolve, just like people evolve and things evolve.
Yeah, I mean, for me this season, I agree. I feel like this is more of a warning of darkness to come. Like, yes, they are in the darkness right now. Literally, it's night all the time.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with what is going on. They're in a very dark case, but it feels like they can get to the other side of it. You guys let us know in the comments too. There's no wrong theories here. Like, just let us know, what do you think that the spiral means throughout the show, but also mostly this season?
Now that is where what you just said, that they can get to the other side of it. I wish that there was like a giant bell or like a gong or something that we could sort of
A
bring.
gong?
Yeah, that's a
Is
very
that like to bring people to dinner, or like,
Okay, well,
get off the stage?
This is a good news gong.
Okay.
All right, there it is. You've just nailed it. That is the meaning of all of this. This is the real distinction here, and this is what, at least, and this is the tinfoil hat theory that I'm going with, but this is what the spiral in season 4 means, is that it's a warning, but it also can mean there's still hope. There's still a chance. And while in season 1, we are seeing this spiral wind down deeper and deeper into darkness, I think here you could see it almost as a warning, but also a symbol that you could move eventually further and further into the light if you're able to avoid falling into thin ice, if you're able to solve the case of the scientist, the case of Annie K. Like, I don't think it's any coincidence that, Night Country itself has been set in almost complete darkness for the entire show. And now that we are hopefully moving into answers, and I think, are you feeling hopeful we'll get a resolution to this case in the finale?
Oh, I am. I also feel like this spiral and sort of that idea of going into the light. I mean, this whole season has had a very heavy theme of loneliness and people dealing with different traumas and things that have happened in their past that are now creeping up into the case. All of the characters have something going on. So it still works with this theory of the idea that the spiral, instead of going down into more darkness, that you could actually come up into the light.
And that's why I feel reasonably hopeful that there's a chance we will see both, metaphorical and physical light in the finale of all of this. And I don't think everything's going to be perfect. Like, let's make that clear. Not everybody on this show is going to get a happy ending, but I think in terms of larger getting answers and getting a sense of healing, whether it be, the people who loved Annie K or whatever's going on here with the mines and with Salal, I think we're going to see things established and concluded in a way where the light will at least be starting to trickle in, even if it's not there all the time. But I think these spirals tell us here that it is a warning. And while, a dark end is still possible, it's not guaranteed. It's something that can still be conquered. And I think that's a really beautiful idea, provided that the show pays it off properly. If the show just goes completely haywire and kills a bunch of characters and we never see the light, just throw this video into the sun and I don't know what we're doing here anymore.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's always a lot of talk of, like, dark and lightness on this show,
Yeah.
that it's sort of like it's one or the other. But what I always found kind of interesting about it, especially even in season 1, is that a lot of stuff sort of ends up in that gray area. Like, the end of it where it's like, oh, we got Childress, but the Tuttles are still out there. And Marty's just like, take the win. Like, you're not going to have everything great or everything bad. You can get some wins and some bad, and you end up in the gray.
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic going into the finale. I am worried that there's a lot that they still need to tie up, but I think
there's a lot.
I also just feel like they've done a really good job so far this season of planting everything. This is HBO, so HBO will probably give them plenty of time in order to tell this final story. This isn't like NBC where it's like, your Blacklist finale must be like 42 minutes or else, and everything is going to be rushed and weird.
Yep.
But all right, well, that is what we have for you guys on The Spiral and True Detective Night Country. I hope that this continues to be a part of the greater True Detective universe in some shape or form.
Yep.
Announce that season 5, guys. But
I know.
I know. All right, well, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss anything else. We will have a review of the True Detective finale on Sunday night, the moment it wraps. Also a review of the Monsieur Spade finale on AMC if you're watching that as well. And also click that box right there if you want to watch our theory video all about the potential poisonings and if that is really what's going on here with the scientists.
Yep.
Thank you to our patrons as well for your support. We really appreciate that. And you can join our Patreon and get exclusive content just by checking out that link in the description below. And we'll see you guys here next time.